What an emotional ending to the UFL 2025 season, with just absolutely amazing how Shannon Harris and Jordan Tamu led the DC Defenders to one of the record breaking modern day spring football history in the most points scored in a game, and Jordan Tamu with the most passing yards in an entire game. Absolutely stunning. Congratulations to the DC Defenders. Definitely lost this pick, but you know what? I'll take it because we got one of the most exciting, excellent games we have ever seen, I think, in spring football. And this championship game lived up to exactly what the UFL is. I will say right off the bat, and Tuesday, the TV ratings and attendance will be late. Unfortunately, my day job, I am not going to be home during this entire week coming up. So we'll be talking about that at another point, probably later Tuesday afternoon. But I will say I am very disappointed in the St. Louis fans. I'm just going to be honest. The attendance, I think, was 12,200 and some odd people, I think, was the total attendance. Now, of course, there was a lot going on throughout the country today, and everything that still, when you get down to how many tickets are sold or distributed, it's hard to comprehend that even for last year with Birmingham and San Antonio in the championship game in St. Louis, there was still 27,000 tickets sold slash distributed, and here there was only 12,000, and that's a shame. I mean, it looked very empty. I'm not saying in general I'm not calling particular people out in St. Louis, but I think it remains to be seen that, like I've talked about here on the show, that too much football is not a good thing. And we learned this with Birmingham, with the USFL in 2022. And quite frankly, I'm just disappointed because for a lead or for a team that really supports the UFL and stands on the ground of being the best fan group there is because of how many people show up to games. It's really hard when you take a step back and look that, just because your team's not playing in the championship game, you don't go to the championship. I kind of get that to an extent, but at the same time, we are at a critical point of trying to essentially support the league at all costs. I mean, even the XFL championship game in 2023, I'll be honest, I don't think there has been a championship game in modern spring football history with this low of an attendance, including the games at Canton. I believe those are all 19 to 20,000. Which again, there's going to be probably a lot of comments that they should have held this game there. I get it. I still think the turnout probably wouldn't have been as great, but I will say I'm a little bit disappointed in that market for not showing up and supporting a league that, again, we don't know. We know they'll be back next year. That's not a question, but when you take too much advantage of one, from a league perspective, too much advantage of a market, and then from a fan perspective, you don't take advantage of the opportunity you have in front of you to support the league and get the most attendance and stuff like that. It's a real shame. It really is a big shame, and I think even with St. Louis potentially in that game, I think it would have been on the lower side, to be honest. And it is what it is. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the full recap of the DC Defenders defeating the Michigan Panthers. And again, in a game that was absolutely amazing. The highest scoring, they almost combined, almost scored over 100 points. This was absolutely an amazing game, and I feel sorry for people that did not see this in person because it was absolutely amazing and just showed exactly why Jordan Ta'amu deserved to be MVP of this league. Bryce Perkins did, again, Bryce Perkins is Bryce Perkins. He was absolutely amazing. I can see why people were soured on it. And clearly, we know that DC was soured by this, and so was Jordan Ta'amu as well. And it showed. So let's go ahead and dive into it. The Michigan Panthers serve as the home team for the championship game, and DC ended up winning the coin toss and elected to get the ball after the half. So we will see Mr. MVP himself start out the game. On the very first play, Perkins passes a quick pass to the right, complete to Turner for a gain of 5 yards. On 2nd and 5, he goes right back to Turner for a pass and catch for a gain of 8 yards and a first down. On 1st and 10, Perkins continues to pass the ball again for the third time to Turner for a 10-yard gain and another first down, and the Panthers have officially crossed into the defenders' territory. We finally see To'o on 1st and 10 with a handoff and a gain of 6 yards up the middle, and then another 3 for Tao on the next play. On 2nd and 7, Nate McCrary gets a handoff and rushes left for a total of 35 yards and a touchdown to put 6 on the board for the Panthers. They do come up short on the 1-point attempt, making it 6-0 to start the game with a impressive opening drive, which went 6 plays for 67 yards and 3 minutes and 16 seconds off the clock. And I will say right off the bat here, with essentially this opening drive, this really showed almost where essentially the Michigan Panthers left off last week against the Birmingham Stallions and just how well that they were doing. I mean, right off the bat, it seemed like, all right, here we go. Michigan Panthers are doing exactly what they showed up to do. They got the ball back first, and yeah, it looked like a promising start to the game for the Michigan Panthers. But then we go back, and it is over to none other than the DC defenders who get their first drive. Potter of the Panthers kicks a 64-yard kick from the Michigan 30-yard line to the DC 6, and Mickens muffs the catch and then recovers his own fumble at the DC 11, where he is taken down, and that's where the defenders will start their first drive. Jordan Ta'amu comes out, hands off the ball on first down to Jackson, who rushes up the middle for only 2 yards. On 2nd and 8, Ta'amu passes a short pass to the left to Roland for a gain of 4 yards. On 3rd and 4, another quick pass to Mickens, this time for 6 yards and a first down. We see another handoff for Jackson, who rushes again for 2 yards to the right. And then on 2nd and 8, Jordan passes a quick short pass to the left and connects with Roland for a gain of 25 yards and another first down. On the next 3 plays, Jackson rushed for 6 yards, and then Jordan kept the ball for no gain. That set up 3rd and 4th, where he keeps the ball again and rushes for 6 yards up the middle for another first down on this drive. Jordan then steps back, passes the ball to Moore on first down for a gain of 13 and another first down on this drive. We then see back-to-back incomplete passes that sets up a huge 3rd and 10 on the Michigan 26 when Jordan steps back and tosses a floating pass right up the middle for Mickens for 26-yard touchdown pass. They go for 2 points, and Jordan steps back for a short pass intended for Moore, but it is batted down, and that brings the score 6-6 after 2 opening drive touchdowns for each team. Drive went 12 plays for 89 yards and 6 minutes and 32 seconds off the clock. The Panthers then start their second drive at their own 26-yard line, and on first play, Perkins hands off to McCrary for a gain of 1 yard, and then on second down, a quick pass to Mariner is incomplete, setting up a quick 3rd and 9. On 3rd down, Perkins steps back as he has pressure coming from his right. He gets the pass completed to Mariner for a gain of 16 yards. McCrary rushes up the middle for a gain of 4 on first down, setting up 2nd and 6, where Bryce gets another quick pass off to Devin Ross for a gain of 8 yards and another first down. Towel gets the handoff and runs over defenders for a gain of 7 yards. On the next play, Bryce Perkins steps to his right and throws a bomb over to a wide open Mariner for a 38-yard touchdown pass. With another 6 points on the board, they go for a 1-point conversion, and with a quick pass up the middle to Mariner again, that is complete, and that brings the score 13-6 with 1 minute and 13 seconds left in the first quarter. 3 drives and 3 straight touchdowns between the Panthers and defenders. This drive went for 7 plays for 74 yards and 3 minutes and 59 seconds used off the clock. Then we go back to DC having the ball, and it starts on their next drive on their own 20-yard line after a touchback. Tamu passes a short pass up the middle to Roland for 10 yards, but he fumbles the ball and out of bounds, setting up, lucky enough, a 1st and 10 for DC on it. On the very next play, there was a pass up the middle again to Powell, who gets through and runs in for another touchdown. But hold on, there is a flag on the play that brings it back with an ineligible player downfield. On 1st and 15 on DC's 25-yard line, Jordan Tamu makes a pass complete to Mickens for a gain of 67 yards, who is tackled at the Michigan 8-yard line, setting up a 1st and goal, and defenders' offense is right back in the red zone again. On 1st and goal, Jackson rushed left for a gain of 4 yards down to the Michigan 5-yard line, and that will end the first quarter. As we come back to start the second quarter, on 2nd and 5, Jackson rushes left for only 1 yard, and then a quick incomplete pass setting up a 22-yard field goal for Matt McCrane, who kicks it right through, adding 3 points, making the score 13-9 Panthers. Drive went 6 plays for 76 yards and 2 minutes and 28 seconds off the clock. Michigan then gets the ball back and starts their next drive on their own 16-yard line, and To'o gets the handoff and only gains a gain of 1 yard. On 2nd and 9, Perkins completes a quick pass to Turner for 5 yards, setting up 3rd and 4, but they come up short on 3rd down as Perkins gets pressured, tries to take off, and gets sacked for a loss of 3 yards, and Panthers will be punting the ball back to the DC defenders for the first time in this game for either team. Drive went 3 plays for 3 yards and 2 minutes and 2 seconds off the clock. And I will say right now, this is kind of where it started to a little bit go downhill for the Michigan Panthers. Just overall with their play, they were on a roll, and then this started happening, and we kind of saw that through the rest of the game. But we'll talk about that because we have some interesting things that does happen in the fourth quarter. But DC starts their drive after the punt at their own 37-yard line and a quick pass on 1st down to Sanders for a gain of 7 yards. On 2nd down, Tamu goes to his college receiver at Ole Miss to Sanders for a gain of 34 yards up the right side. DC is back in Michigan zone and 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line, heading for the red zone again. Tamu steps back and throws a quick pass to Mickens for a gain of 8 yards. On 2nd and 2, Jordan steps back as Powell goes to the right corner of the end zone and catches a dime pass for the touchdown, and DC takes their first lead of the game 15-3. DC goes for 2 points on the drive, but Jordan has to throw it away before getting sacked, and on that drive went 4 plays for 63 yards and 2 minutes and 6 seconds off the clock. On the kickoff, Malone gets the kick, but it is then fumbled and it's ripped out. Defenders grab the ball and set up a 1st and goal in a huge mistake. Again, a huge mistake that sets them up on the Michigan 7-yard line. Again, like I said, this is where things started to go downhill for Michigan, and they kind of just got deflated after this with all purpose, at least for most of the game here. Jordan tries to go to the right corner again to Mickens, but it is overthrown on 1st and goal. Rollins gets the handoff and makes his way to the 30-yard line for a gain of 4, setting up 3rd and goal. Jackson gets the handoff and comes up just short of the goal line. Panthers defense come up big, but DC goes for it on 4th and goal, and Jordan keeps the ball and extends it over the line for a touchdown. Another 6 on the board for DC, and it is now 21-13, and they will go for 2 again, and Jordan steps back and right up the middle has more wide open and completes the 2-point conversion. It is now a 10-point game, 23-13, a huge mistake has cost the Panthers massively on this prior drive. This drive went 4 plays for 7 yards and 2 minutes and 3 seconds off the clock. Panthers, oh God, my nose is itchy. Panthers will start the drive on their own 25-yard line, and right off the bat, there is too many men in the huddle costing them 5 yards, and they are off their game to begin this drive. Perkins nearly gets sacked, but gets the ball off right before for an incomplete pass. On 2nd and long, Perkins tosses a nice pass right up the middle of the Mariner, and it is dropped. Sets up a huge 3rd and 15. They need to get this first to allow their defense some rest, but another incomplete pass sets them up to punt the ball back to the defenders. Defense steps up, punt the ball back. Defenders defense steps up big again. 2nd straight 3rd and out for Michigan. Drive went 3 plays for -5 yards and 1 minute and 47 seconds off the clock. With 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first half, DC gets the ball back. Jordan goes right back to the air for a quick pass to Mickens to the left side, and he runs up and gains 19 yards and another first as they move into Michigan zone again. On 1st down, Jordan keeps the ball, and Jordan is tackled at the line for no loss or a gain. 2nd and 10, quick pass up the right side to Chris Rowland for a gain of 7, setting up 3rd and 3. Jordan, again, keeps the ball on 3rd down and rushes up the middle for a new set of downs. Handoff to Jackson, and he gains 4 yards. 2nd and 6. Jordan steps back, throws a quick pass to Powell for a 1st down, and we are now officially down to the 2-minute warning with a 10-point lead. They are back in the red zone again. Keep in mind, at this point, DC does get the ball back at the after the half, which could set up a massive lead for DC and start putting this game away early. But on 1st and 10, Abram Smith gets the pass and gains 9, and they are quick back to line. Jackson runs right into the end zone for another DC defender's touchdown, bringing the score 29-13 with 1 minute and 30 left in the half. They go for 2 and do the Philly special and has Mickens throw the ball to Jordan for a 2-point conversion. It is now 31-13. But there's still 1 minute and 36 seconds left, or 25 seconds left in the second half, or the first half. Panthers start their drive at their own 21-yard line. I apologize, the camera shook there. Start their drive again. Quick handoff, gain of 5, but the clock is running, and a quick pass to Turner takes it to the house for a 71-yard touchdown. But there is a penalty on the play, or after the play, on DC, which allow the Panthers to go for a 3-point conversion on the 2-yard line. It is now 19-31, but hold on. Shannon Harris comes out and throws the challenge flag, saying there was holding on offensive lineman, but Dean Blandino steps in, doesn't see a material restriction, and the challenge is declined. Shannon Harris loses the timeout and the ability to challenge for the rest of the game. We go back to the play on the field with a 3-point conversion attempt from the 2-yard line, but they come up short. Drive went 2 plays for 84 yards and only 41 seconds off the clock. Again, anything can happen in the UFL, and we learn this as the game goes on. DC will start their drive out from their own 15-yard line with 46 seconds remaining in the half and only 1 timeout for DC. Quick pass to Sanders to the outside with a gain of 5 and only used 3 seconds as he ran out of bounds. Another quick pass to the right to Mickens for a first down, and he fumbles the ball but gets it back and sets up another first down. And man, oh man, Jordan Ta'amu steps back and throws a bomb to the returning Ty Scott for a 73-yard touchdown pass. Jordan and the defenders were obviously offended by Perkins getting the league MVP that was talked about throughout the broadcast. Jordan even said he was pretty disappointed when he heard the news last night. And let me tell you, they are showing exactly what they think of it. It's 37-19, and they will go again for 2 points but come up short. Drive went 3 plays, 85 yards, and 22 seconds. Crazy what can happen in 63 seconds. This game was insane at this point, and there's still 27 seconds left in the half. Panthers will start the drive on their own 25-yard line again. Perkins has a lot of pressure as the pocket is collapsing. He throws a pass up the middle for Oaks, and it is incomplete. Perkins then kneels the ball, who clearly is frustrated at this point, to go into halftime. 37-19 at the half, and here is what we have stat-wise, which is crazy. Jordan Ta'amu is 16 for 20, 320 yards, and 3 touchdowns with 80% completion percentage and 158.3 quarterback rating. Rushing-wise, only 15 attempts for 15 attempts for 59 yards and 2 touchdowns for the defenders, with Deion Jackson and Jordan having 2 touchdowns. Again, not much happening on the ground for DC, but it's the air where things are lighting up the field, with only 16 completions for 320 yards and 3 touchdowns with only 20 targeted during the first half. What's crazy about this is Mickens' longest was 66 yards reception, Ty Scott 73-yard reception, Sanders 30, and Roland 25. All these receivers are making the most out of this championship game, and it really did show. Bryce Perkins on the other side of the ball is 8 for 13, 160 yards and 2 touchdowns, 61.5% completion rating, and 144.2 quarterback rating for the first half. The rushing game we saw last week is non-existent for the Panthers, with their star running back Toa Tao and Nate McCrary only having 63 yards on the ground with 8 attempts and 1 touchdown for Nate McCrary. Bryce only had 1 attempt for a loss of a yard. But again, when it comes to the receiving, Turner and Mariner are their 2 main stars for the Panthers, with Turner having 5 completions for 98 yards and a touchdown, longest being 71 yards. Mariner 2 completions for 54 yards and 1 touchdown, longest being 38 yards. This game is exactly how I thought it'd be. Insanely crazy offense, high scoring. I did not expect the mistakes by Michigan, which has cost them tons of points from DC in the first half. The defense getting a bit of a rest at halftime will need to come out and stand strong against this hot offense to even have a chance not to fall even more behind. As for DC, they will need to just continue what they're doing, and their defense will need to stop letting some of these long drives happen, or long passes and stuff like that for big plays for Perkins and his offense happening. If they can do that, DC will by far be the 2025 UFL champions, and there is without a doubt that Jordan will be the championship MVP of the game. This was at halftime. Let me just say, I spoke these into existence, these words into existence, because DC defenders get the ball to start off the second half and continues exactly where they left off. On 1st and 10, Jordan steps back and passes an incomplete pass to Mickens. And on 2nd and 10, Jordan rushes 11 yards for a first down. And then on 2 back-to-back plays, Smith gets the handoff for rushes for 5 yards and then 9. This would lead to the defenders getting down to the Michigan 20-yard line in the red zone and having to kick a 38-yard field goal to add another 3 points to the board, bringing the score to 40-19, a drive that went 9 plays for 40 yards and 4 minutes and 10 seconds off the clock. Panthers then get the ball back for the first time since the first half, and on first down, Toa rushes up the middle for 3 yards. On 2nd and 7, Perkins throws a short pass to Mariner, but it is incomplete. On the next play, things go downhill quick. Perkins gets out of the pocket and starts to look like he's going to take off, but stops and comes back and tries to throw a quick pass, and it is intercepted at the Michigan 50 by Thomas. And the ball will go back to the defenders, and he at least ran for 19 yards after the interception to the Michigan 31. The poor Michigan defense just can't catch a break to get off the field long enough. The drive went 3 plays for 3 yards and 1 minute and 27 seconds off the clock. Again, talking into existence, Michigan defense having a hard time getting off the field. Just wait until the fourth quarter of what happens to DC's defense. DC starts to drive off at the Panthers' 31-yard line, and a quick incomplete pass to Ty Scott is dropped. On 2nd and 10, they waste no time with a throw to Fairchild for 15 yards, and they are right back in the red zone. On 1st and 10, Jackson rushes left for a 17-yard touchdown. They go for 1-point conversion, and it fails. This brings the score up 46-19. And you can tell just how deflated the Panthers are, even more so now at this point, being down 27 points. This drive went 3 plays for 31 yards and 1 minute and 4 seconds off the clock. Malone gets the kickoff and returns it for a great return where the Panthers will start their next drive at their own 39-yard line. Perkins steps back and throws a quick wild pass to Mariner, and it is overthrown. He looks very out of this one as we head to 2nd and 10. He steps back with pressure and tries to toss a quick pass to McCrary, and it is incomplete and not even close to being able to be close, even caught at that point. 3rd and 10, clock continues to run down. The Panthers. Perkins starts to get out of the pocket and rushes it to the right side and gains 6 yards to bring up 4th and 4, and they will end up punting it back. DC will start their next drive on their own 11-yard line, and they are not letting up as Smith gets the handoff and runs up the middle for a gain of 12 yards on 1st down. Smith again for another rush of 5 yards, and then on 2nd and 5, Roland rushes up the right end of the field for 10 yards. On 1st and 10, Jordan rushes for 4 yards, and defenders are just rushing the ball, trying to run the clock down as much as they can. Jackson gets a handoff again, but there was a penalty, DC with holding, and this will bring the ball back 10 yards. Excuse me. Jordan on the next play steps back and takes another insane pass up the middle to Williams for a gain of 45 yards. On 1st down, Smith gets the handoff and rushes for 9.5 yards. On 2nd and 1, they are back in the red zone again at the Michigan 13. Smith up the middle for a massive rush, pushing through the Panthers defense for a 1st down and setting up 1st and goal on the 3-yard line. Jordan then hands off the ball to Smith again, but they are met at the goal line for no gain. Or at the line for no gain. Jackson gets a handoff and gets inside the 1-yard line, setting up 3rd and goal. This will bring us to the 4th quarter. Jordan then steps back. Oh, God, I cannot get my nose to stop itching here. Jordan steps out and passes a quick toss to Moore for a touchdown. It is now 52-19. DC will go for a 1-point conversion. There was a penalty, and they will go for the one from the 17-yard line. But another flag, this time on the Panthers defense, moves the ball closer by 5 yards, with it being on Michigan. At this point, Mike DeLeo has been brought in and will play the rest of the game. At least that was according to the announcers at that point. We'll learn a little bit later that changes, but we'll talk about that. With 14:56 remaining, and they missed the extra point, the drive went 10 plays for 54 yards and 6 minutes and 8 seconds off the clock. Jordan got 388 passing yards tonight, passing the all-time record of the UFL for the most yards passed in a game. Absolutely amazing. Panthers down the ball in the end zone and start their drive at their own 35. Perkins passes the Turner for 15 yards, handoff to McCrary up and he rushes up the left for 6 yards. Again, 2nd and 4, McCrary gets a handoff, rushes for 14 yards this time to get to the DC 29-yard line. Perkins takes a shot at the end zone and first down and overthrows Mariner. Towel with the handoff gains 4, setting up 3rd and 6. Perkins throws a quick pass to Turner, and he runs it in for a touchdown. There was a flag, but it was offsides on the defenders, and the touchdown is good, bringing the score 25-52, and they end up going for 2 points, and it is incomplete to the left for Mariner. The drive went 6 plays for 64 yards and 2 minutes and 46 seconds off the clock. Panthers then exercise the 4th and 12 rule, and they complete it. They end up throwing 3 back-to-back first downs with Ross, Hikatuni, Mariner, and even Perkins throws a short pass up the middle for a touchdown drive. That's right. 5 plays, 67 yards, and 2 minutes and 13 seconds off the clock, and they ended up not getting the 2-point conversion. It is now a 19-point game with 9 minutes and 57 seconds remaining in the game. They will take that option again, 4th and 12, to continue trying to make a comeback here, which is crazy to even think as this game seemed to be over in the 3rd quarter. I will say this. And it didn't happen, but I will say it. If the Panthers somehow came back with continuing to use the 4th and 12, I can guarantee we'd hear how bad this rule needs to go away. I can just hear it now. I literally could hear it now if that were to happen. This drive went 5 plays for 72 yards, 2 minutes and 13 seconds off the clock. Another 4th and 12 coming up with, again, also keeps DC's defense on the field, who are absolutely tired at this point. Again, I talked about earlier, Panthers defense was in a similar situation. Pressure up the middle towards Perkins, but he escapes and he gets a toss off to the right to Turner, and they convert. It's 1st and 10. DC takes a timeout to catch a breath and get everything back in order. 9 minutes and 27 seconds on the clock, and Perkins and the Panthers will go for their 3rd consecutive drive. Perkins gets taken down right off the bat, but there is a flag. Offsides DC, and it is now 1st and 5. Devin Ross gets a quick pass for a gain of 12 yards and another first down. Perkins with another pass to Towel for 10 yards and out of bounds. At this point, McCrary then rushes for 3 yards, 2nd and 7, and they are knocking on DC's door again. Perkins doesn't escape the pressure, though, and there was also holding on the play, costing the Panthers. It is now 3rd and 17 on the DC 37. DC hasn't been on offense for over 25 minutes, and I'm talking about in real time, not the clock time, real time, 25 minutes at this point. 3rd and 11, Perkins throws an incomplete pass. It is now 4th and 11. Perkins for sure looks like he is favoring the right ankle at this point. And this will be a big play for the Panthers to see if they can continue the drive, and DC ends up taking a timeout. Nolan then decides to kick a field goal because no matter what, they will be going for another 4th and 12. They might as well get the points on the board. This will bring the game to 34-52 and become a 2-score game with 5 minutes and 52 seconds on the clock. It ended up being a 49-yard field goal, and it was good. Another 4th and 12 will happen here to see what can happen, but just like DC's defense, Panthers' offense is also getting tired as well. They've got a little bit of a break with the field goal here, but 4th consecutive drive they will attempt here. They do miss it, and with a incomplete pass, it will be DC's ball at Michigan 28. Jordan comes back into the game and runs the ball to try to run the clock down as much as possible. It is now 4th and 1, and they will go for it. They are short by 10 inches. Roland rushes up the middle for another touchdown, and it is now 58-34. DC will go for 1 point, and they don't get it with 3 minutes and 33 seconds left on the clock. This is the second time in modern spring football history a team has gone above 50 points in a game. This is the largest ever. Back in 2023 in the XFL, the Battlehawks scored 53 points in a game. Between the USFL, XFL, and now UFL, this is now the new record for the most points scored in a spring football game by one team. Drive went 4 plays for 28 yards and 2 minutes and 8 seconds off the clock. Turner received the kickoff and went down with an injury. I'm not quite sure what happened to him. We never really got an update on Turner. But Panthers got the ball on their own 40-yard line. 2 quick back-to-back first downs get Panthers to the DC side of the field with Turner, who did return. So we assume he was okay, but we never heard what actually happened on the kickoff. Towle completing 2 passes, setting up 2nd and 4. Perkins rushes for 2 yards, and then Towle rushes up the middle for 4 yards and a first down. Perkins on 1st and 10 goes for the house to Nakua, but it is overthrown, setting up 2nd and 10 with the 2-minute warning. On 3rd and 15, on the next drive, Perkins gets sacked, which then set up 3rd and 15. Perkins is favoring that ankle massively and is told he can come out by the offensive coordinator and head coach, but he is not giving up. Quick pass up the middle of Mariner sets up 4th and 3, and they will go for it. Perkins steps back. It's incomplete, but there is a flag on the play, and after the play, both teams, for unsportsmanlike conduct, the ball is now in the hands of the DC defenders, who will run the clock down for the 2025 UFL Championship. Drive went 7 plays, 30 yards, and 2 minutes and 1 second off the clock. DC rushes 2 quick plays for 9 yards, and the final victory formation comes up with the DC defenders are your new and defending UFL champions for the 2025 season. Absolutely congratulations to this team. They did so great. Absolutely crazy. The score was crazy. This game just was absolutely amazing, and I cannot be more thankful for the game we got. Again, I wish more people were there to see it, but they were not. So either way, great game. We'll be talking about Tuesday afternoon, everything. Obviously, there was no announcement during halftime for expansion, but it is what it is. We'll see where everything goes. Overall, Jordan Ta'amu ended up again setting the single game record in the UFL for passing yards at 388. Absolute amazing game for DC defenders. They earned this one. And now, the only 2 teams in the XFL side of things that do not have a championship on their or for their team is the Battlehawks and the Brahmas, who will look to come back next year and potentially do that. But again, absolutely amazing game. What'd you think about it? I enjoyed it. We will be back later this week talking any type of news that comes up. And then we'll see where we go from there. So I appreciate everyone joining me for the 2025 UFL season here on the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're still here. Hit the like button. We'll see you on the flip side. Have a great one, everyone.